This Food City 500 DFS Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credit.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
And of course, welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome to your weekend, I guess, because since this is the last show of the week, you can officially call it the weekend. But welcome to the DFS episode. It's Bristol, baby. Look, Cody, I'm so excited that I went out today and I bought myself some Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey.
Little Tennessee whiskey for it's Bristol, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's not just normal Tennessee whiskey. It's actually honey Tennessee whiskey. So we'll get a little sweet. Unlike this race, this is sweet.
Well, the race is going to be sweet, just not sweet.
Well, I mean, there'll be tempers. There'll be people beating and banging. That's not sweet, man. The violence is not sweet.
It is sweet to watch, but not sweet for the drivers for sure.
Indeed. So, yeah, it is Bristol. We are short track racing. That means lots of laps. That means lots of fun to be had, especially in your DFS lineups, because if you pick the right guy, he leads a lot of laps. You are one happy DFS camper. And as always, we strive to bring you the best picks for your DFS lineups. The high drivers, the mid-tier drivers, the low drivers, and everything in between. And of course, we'll wrap up with our Underdog Fantasy picks for the weekend. Marcus checking in on the show. Marcus is a longtime fan of the back road. He says right. First hi. Everyone's pick for Bristol. And here, if you're a fan of both the back road and this show, you know that Marcus's favorite pick in the entire world, Christopher Bell to win the race. He was right 3 times already this season. Can he be right again? That's the question.
There you go. Look, he's been good here. So, yeah, he certainly could do it again for sure. Wasn't either of our picks. Go back, listen to the betting episode for the official picks, but I don't think you'd be wrong to bet on him this week for sure.
But Marcus, be happy because I will be talking about him in a little bit. I can guarantee you that much, and you'll definitely get your money's worth out of this episode, which is thankfully free. JDK saying afternoon, fellas. Afternoon, JDK. Little Joker wants to put a lift on the 54 this evening, win top 3 and top 5.
Hey, it's Ty Gibbs week. Let's do it.
One of these days, Cody. One of these days.
I can't wait. I just can't wait till he has such a good run this weekend. And I'm going to rub it in your face next week. I can't. It's going to be great.
I welcome it. I keep telling people I want to be wrong. I don't like being right all the time on people like that. So John Little saying he was first place last weekend. OT came back, lost by 0-6. So
yeah, that's always rough. But yeah, if you're interested in playing with us, we got a $5 game we do for Cup, Xfinity trucks. We have F1 we do as well that we toss over in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. So jump over there, join the conversation. Those guys stay plenty busy chatting in there along with us. And yeah, it's always fun to get in on those contests. And been getting more people entering. And we've had some heated battles. 0.06, obviously, last week being the difference in first and second. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely join us over in the Discord. And of course, you can find everything SGPN on the SGPN app, all the picks, all the podcasts in one convenient place. Go download that SGPN app for free over wherever you get your apps. Doesn't matter if it's the App Store, if it's the, I don't know. I've seen people on the corner selling apps. I should probably be a little bit afraid to buy apps from them, but they say they're safe, and so far so good. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the one guy said that he would take my money and invest it in some alcohol. So I thought that was a great investment. I love it.
I'm all about investing in alcohol, Rod.
God, I love it. All right, Bristol, baby. We are set for, like we said, some short track racing. Obviously, over the course, if you're just finding this and you're like, well, where's the rest of everything? Unfortunately, we have had to downsize into into just covering Cup, but we do give you plenty of opportunities to have other underdog picks out there on the YouTube. So make sure you get in on that as well.
I'll give you a little bonus this week too. First of all, go back and listen to yesterday's Truck and Xfinity episode for the entire breakdown. But Justin Allgaier is really fucking good. You have got to play him in Xfinity DFS this week. I don't care where he starts. I don't care what he looks like in qualifying. I don't care if he's got one hand tied behind his back while he's racing this week. Play him in DFS. There's your Xfinity tip of the week.
Indeed. Well, and also too, you can, wherever he's at, if when Underdog drops the projections for Xfinity, make sure you grab whatever the better than is.
And Rob, just to, we haven't really talked about the show formats for next week, but there is no Cup Series next week. So my guess is we're going to work in both Xfinity and trucks into the DFS. Rockingham, Casey Kane's going to be back. Oh yeah, I obviously love the Cup Series, but they're going to get themselves a little Easter break, and I'm excited for Xfinity and trucks to take the spotlight for the week.
I'm excited to be talking Rockingham because that's something we haven't done on this show, and we get an opportunity to really have some fun talking about a track that's historic and fun. Boji Joe wants us to say Caruth. There, I said
Caruth.
It. Yes. We can't talk about him today, but we'll talk about him plenty next week, I'm sure. All right. Yeah, well, maybe we'll see. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Caruth. Look, you get me going on Gibbs. You get me going on Caruth. Like, so many things I want to talk about.
Well, he gave us the memory we'll never forget with that 80-1. He just has not done much since.
No, unfortunately. All right. It is Bristol. It is 500 laps around this 0.533 mile paved track for 266.500 miles. Cody, that is a lot of lap potential, a lot of opportunities for you to lead a lot because that's what they do around here.
That, yes, that is a lot of laps led. That is a lot of fastest laps. Points are going to rack up quickly this week, similar to what we saw at Martinsville just 2 weeks ago, where it's a ton of laps, a ton of fast laps. So you're going to have to get the dominators. Last week, we kind of had an oddity with Byron being the one guy. And although Preston ended up winning our DFS contest, did not have Byron in his lineup. But I think it's because everyone had Larson, and that balanced out except for him. And I think that balanced everything out. But, yeah, you're going to want to get guys who are going to lead laps and guys who are going to lay down those fastest laps because there's a lot of them to be had.
Indeed. So then, as we always do, we will try to identify those for you as we launch into our DFS picks, starting with, of course, the highest priced drivers on our suggestion list. So, Cody, who's the guy you're going to that cost you the most?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. You beat me to the dock this week, which we're going to have more of a conversation on that in a bit because you forced my hand with a different play. But I was a bit surprised you didn't have Denny Hamlin after picking him to win. So I was very happy that you left him there for me to talk about. $11,100. He is the most expensive driver, but for a good reason. He's been extremely good here. We talked a lot about him on the betting episode. 4th place here in the fall. He won last spring. He won in September of 23. 9th, a bunch of really good runs. He's got 4 wins here, ton of good runs. But you also look in the laps led category, going back to the fall, 6th and 3rd on the stages. Now, he didn't lead any laps, but he was consistently running up front throughout the race. Last spring, take it a little bit lightly, tire debacle race, led 163 laps. Okay, but then also the fall before that, he led 142. So the tire debacle last spring or not the tire debacle in the fall of 23, doesn't matter, same result, leads a shit ton of laps, wins the race. That's what you're looking for. I mean, you go back and you look through his previous races here, 65 in 21 back in the old car, 131 in 20. He's had some very, very big days here. Obviously, he is on fucking fire right now. He's coming off of 2 wins in a row, Martinsville and Darlington. And now you're coming into Bristol, which is arguably his next best track. Second best average finish out of all the drivers here in next gen, 3.8 over 4 races in the next gen. It's been really, really good. 5 top 10 finishes in a row here. In top 9 and 7 of the last 10 with those 4 wins. So Denny Hamlin is on fire right now, and I am going to have a hard time leaving him out of the lineup. So right to the top of the board, give me Denny Hamlin, 11,100, which really goes into play with what we talked about on the betting episode. It's going to be a chalky week, we're thinking, and yeah, just roll with the chalk at the top of the board.
And I 1,000% agree with you on that. And if I didn't talk about him yesterday on the betting episode, I definitely would have put him on here. But there was somebody else that I thought was great and a play that we didn't talk about at all yesterday for the most part, because he just seemed, from a betting aspect. And again, if you're just listening to the DFS episode, right, and this is the only thing you consume, we always talk about other drivers in the betting episode. And we essentially say, listen, if we talk about them in the betting episode, they're probably a decent enough play in DFS as well. But there are some guys that you just can't bet on at their odds because something happens and you're just SOL, right? Which I've learned from another podcast is sheets out of luck. So, yeah, I mean, look, that you can't bet on them for whatever reason. Christopher Bell is that driver this weekend. We could not find a way to fit him into the betting card, but I'll be damned if we could not leave him out of the DFS episode. Christopher Bell is $10,200. He's a very expensive driver, but for very, very good reason. If you look at his last 4 finishes here, all top 10 finishes, right? So a 4th place finish in 2022, 3rd place finish in 2023, 10th place in 2024, 5th place in 2025 in that debacle, right? He still managed to 5th place after everything that was said and done. You want to translate that into fantasy points in 2022, 118 fantasy points off 143 lead laps, in 85 fastest laps. He was second only to Chris Buescher in that race. Christopher Bell in 2023 scored you the most DraftKings fantasy points in the week, 115.45. He was only 0.2 points ahead of Denny Hamlin. Christopher Bell led 187 laps that day, 67 fastest laps, finished in 3rd. Now, the only thing is that the last couple of seasons, he hasn't gotten you all that much. He got you 55.4 in the 2024 race when they came back and they took the dirt off and actually started racing on this again. So in the spring, he got you 54.4, which was a far cry from Denny Hamlin's 109.8. And even, hold on, let me see. Where was it? Gibbs, 99.5 is what he's the second place guy got that year. But Christopher Bell still got you a respectable 55 points in that race. And then, of course, in the fall race of the 2024 season, 53.5. Kyle Larson obviously got you every single point that was possible out there on that one, leading 462 laps. But yeah, listen, Christopher Bell is one of those guys where, like we said, we couldn't fit him into the betting episode because he's going to be a top 10, but his numbers were so juiced in there. He's probably going to be a top 5, but it's still not the right number that you want for it. So to me, DFS is the best way to get there because everybody's going to chase after the Larsons and the Hamlins and everything. And they'll probably forget that Christopher Bell, who has won 3 races, by the way, this season, led a lot of laps, I think has the possibility of being at least a great, if not sneaky DFS play if everybody's kind of overlooking.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to bring Bell up because, like you said, we didn't talk about it on the betting episode. We think it's going to be chalky. We kind of went all in on Hamlin and Larson. Bell's kind of the third wheel in that situation where he should also be really strong. And so if you're already on Hamlin, you're already on Larson, you can't be on Bell too. If you wanted to bet him instead of one of those guys, I wouldn't say not to do it because we do think that it's going to be probably those 3 guys for the most part at the top of the show. Obviously, some other guys in there as well. Boji Joe saying to fade Bell and Rod.
I don't get why to fade Bell. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And back to Boji Joe saying the tire wear last spring, throw it out. We didn't talk about this on the betting episode, but it is good to reset it on this episode in case you haven't listened to that yet, or for some reason you're not going to. You should, but just in case this is all you listen to. I get it. Sometimes we're limited on time. Last year's tire debacle spring race, we're not going to see that again. It is the same tire. They're going to treat it with the traction compound and PJ1 at some weird combination, but that was the perfect storm. That is not going to happen again. I think that race was a complete outlier. So you can look at what guys did last spring, but if it doesn't match up to everything else they've done here, I'd probably throw it out because, it's just not probably what we're going to see. And then Gibbs, he brought up, I'm not going to bring him up today, but did talk about him on the betting episode as well. And Nick had checked in, predicts Buescher, Gibbs, or Priest going to win this Sunday. Well, we bet two of those three on the betting episode. So, and actually, I believe we talked about Priest as well in the top Ford markets. So we're lined up with you there, Nick. We like those guys. Well,
yeah, don't worry.
Rod doesn't like Gibbs, but I like all three of those guys for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll be talking about one of those guys later on in the show as well. Boji Joe saying Canadian maple syrup. Hey, I had some of that this morning, by the way. Pure Canadian maple syrup.
And we talked about Stuart Friesen yesterday, so
sure did.
I can check that out.
In fact, the wife and I tried to decide whether or not we could import a maple tree from Canada to try to have our own maple syrup.
Tough time to be trying to import things right now.
Yes, indeed. However, I'll drink all the Molson I can before it all goes to hell. All right, let's come back with our mid-tier driver. But before we do, I would like to tell you about Edge Boost. Have you ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? You know you have. Raise your hand. You're in a safe spot here. Have you ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but you hit your ATM limit? Again, keep your hand up. It's fine. You got that. I know that I was once in a beautiful state of Virginia where I could legally place bets, and I downloaded the app that I needed to download, and I started to input or try to deposit some money into that account, only to have my bank say, nah, we don't think you need to be putting money into that account. Well, guess what, bank? It's my money. I can do what I want with it. And Edge Boost is going to let you do that because Edge Boost had your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money when and where you need it without delays that come with traditional banks. And for all you high rollers out there, you can move up to $250,000 a day. Looking at you, Budgie Joe. No, I'm just kidding. On your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. And it gets better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you earn cash back up to 0.5%, and this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and no usage fees. Simply verify your identity, and you're ready to go. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and informed decisions. What are you waiting for? I'll wait. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. Say about mybookie.ag. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every single sport under the sun. And if you've listened to this show for 5 seconds, you absolutely know that it's every sport under the sun, plus props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You can even use your Edge Boost card to get started as well. And there's easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using cryptocurrency. You know that I love me some Aussie rules football. I'm talking about it every single day I can because I want to get all you guys on there. You can actually watch some of that stuff over on FS1. Actually, they've got some great action on there. We're looking at the Collingwood Magpies taking on the Sydney Swans. This will be a close one. I don't know. I like Sydney. We're going to take the 5.5 from them, -118 over on MyBookie. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. It's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. I have nothing against the Magpies. I just think the Swans should be pretty good.
Those are some great mascots.
I love, and if you watch, just watch one match. Just if you do nothing with your life, watch one Aussie rules football match. You're gonna love the walk or the lead-in music because it's all like American patriotic music, but they've repurposed it into whatever it is. So like Grand Old Flag, they have that in there, and they're singing their songs to that. It'll change your life. So just go do that. Do yourself a favor.
Nice. All right. Well, next up, Rod, Dirty Reg checking in says, for as solid as Buescher is, I never see him actually winning a race, but good luck. I'd love to see that happen. I think Dirty Reg is a newer NASCAR fan he had mentioned before. So if you go back to last year, Kansas in the spring, he actually lost the closest finish in NASCAR history to Kyle Larson. Was very close to winning there, but he's won a good amount over the last couple of seasons, including here at Bristol in 2022, where he led 169 laps. He is my mid-tier play at $8,300. In the next-gen era, he's been top 7 in 3 of the 4 races here. Had that race in 22 in next-gen, led 169 laps, wins that race. A 4th place here in 2023, and 7th in the spring race last year as well. And he's just been on fire lately for us. 6th place last week, 6th at Miami, 5th place at Phoenix. He has run really well so far this season. He's got 4 top 7 finishes in the last 6 races. So we've only been, 8 races into the season. So throw out the 2 super speedways, 4 top 7s in the 6 since that. It's been a good run for Buescher so far. And he pays off pretty much each and every week. He's going to get you a solid amount of points for the most part, except for when his Taco Mobile gets shredded up, unfortunately. But things like that are going to happen. But 8,300, and Dirty Reg saying he's just a top 10 guy to me. Yeah, that's what he is, and that's what you like here. But he's also got the upside of getting out front, leading 169 laps, and getting to victory lane. If you hit him on those types of days, that's when he's really going to explode for you. But here at this price, we don't need him to lead a bunch of laps. We need him to finish well, good place differential, and just be up front, which is where we find him just about every week. He's been extremely good on this track in particular. RFK's been good on this track in particular. Keselowski almost won here a couple of years ago. And then we've seen these good runs by Buescher as well. So give me Chris Buescher, 8,300.
So I like this one because I'm going to be giving another play later on that is, in fact, we're going to talk about all 3 RFK drivers, in fact, in this one. So I like this because if Chris Buescher does well, then I think that bodes well for the rest of the RFK stable, which this week I am on. I found myself on it. Boji Joe wants me to take Josh Berry. I would take Josh Berry, Boji Joe, but 12th and 29th here, nothing to really write home about. And that 12th place finish that he had in the 4 car, he started on the outside pole, so he actually lost you points in the fantasy realm. So also he wants to know, how the hell do I read all the ads so fast and so clear? Years and years and years of practice.
Rod's a true professional.
Yeah, some folks do this for fun. This is my life, so I've dedicated it to being able to read clear ad reads and hopefully get you to sign up. If I don't get you to sign up, then I'm not doing my job. But all right, here's the thing. I'm going to talk about yet another RFK driver, and that is Ryan Preece at $7,500. Somebody I'm a little more comfortable with than Josh Berry last year on this track in the fall. I know we're throwing it all out, but Ryan Preece still got you 46.7 fantasy points in that particular race. It was a good day for Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece got you 41 points in the 2024 spring race. So if we're kind of going better than that, then we'll go better than that. Ryan Preece got you 37 points, the 11th most fantasy points in the stable and the 2023 race. And then in 2022, Ryan Preece was kind of non-existent. But his finishes on this track: 7th, 14th, 12th, 17th, 9th, 12th, 18th, 25th. But you say to me, Rod, those aren't really good finishes. I get that, but here's the starts: 14th, 25th, 17th, 27th, 22nd, 33rd, 23rd, 30th. So if you get where I'm going with this, place differential, kind of a big thing for you at that particular point. His average starting position, 23.9. His average finish, 14.3. So you know that he is gaining you spots each and every time he gets onto this track. And now, we've seen some life out of RFK. We've seen some not life out of RFK this season. But on this particular track, if you look at some of the average finishes on this one, Brad Keselowski sits in there at 12.5 in the next gen era. He's 9th on that list. Ryan Preece, 8th on that list at 11. So, I got to tell you, Chris Buescher, 6.5. RFK dominating the top 10 in terms of average finish in the next gen era on the Bristol concrete. So this is a great week if you want to stack RFK even in some of your lineups. That's kind of a fun little angle to take. Probably not a very popular angle, so it'll differentiate you from the rest of the pack, but I think I like it. So give me Ryan Preece, especially at this discounted price of $7,500.
Yeah, you said it well, especially at this discounted price. We've seen what we've seen from him this year. is what I thought we were going to get from Brad Keselowski. But we've not got it from Brad so far. It's been Preece, and he's done really well. He's performed good in this car. I expected this team to do well, and we've seen them do well with Buescher. We've seen them do well with Preece. Keselowski, of the three, the one that surprised me a little bit, kind of hanging farther back. But Preece has been impressive, and I like him, especially at the price you're getting him at.
Yeah, and we haven't even really talked about the fact that over the last few weeks, I mean, 3rd place at Vegas, 9th at Homestead, 7th at Martinsville, starting positions of 12th, 31st, and 21st. So, I mean, last week was a disappointment for pretty much the entire RFK stable. But I mean, he's been a steady, nice DFS play for you all season long.
Yeah, I want to think some people played him last week, and they're going to be gun shy to play him again because he it didn't work out starting second and finishing, I think, 21st or something like that. Wasn't a good day, but I wouldn't let that hurt your thoughts on playing him this week for sure. You know who I really like in the low price guys, Rod? I really like the DFS darling himself. And I go to put him in the sheet, and Rod already beat me to it. He took him because he saw how good of a play it was for me last week, and he wanted to do it. So this is Rod's fault. I would like you all to know that because I was going to play somebody different, but he has forced my hand. That's right. We're going to be stacking pennies with Corey LaJoie. He is in this race back in the 01 car, running that select schedule, limited schedule. Nice, cheap, $5,400 for you. So couple of things here. You know, when you go down to the bottom of the board, Balicki, Ware, 5,000, 51. You got Herps there. And then LaJoie, next guy on the board at 54, going to be a chalk week. So I want to get Denny Hamlin in my lineup. I want to get Kyle Larson in my lineup. If I can squeeze Christopher Bell in there too, I'd like to do it. So you're going to need some guys like the guy Rod's about to give out. And you're going to need some guys like Corey LaJoie. The way that I'm looking at this is similar to kind of a similar conversation we had about Parker Kligerman yesterday in that 75 truck for Henderson. Look, it's a limited schedule. They're only picking and choosing races where they think that he can do well at, right? And I think that that's the case with Corey here. And Corey's actually had some good success at this track. 36th place finish here in the fall. He got in a wreck. That was like, I think that was actually I think he got traded the week leading into Bristol. And then it was like the next week where he left Spire and went to Rick Ware or whatever. So it's kind of the end of that, whatever. But in the spring race here, again, tire debacle, 21st place finish. You like that. It's a good finish. Fall of 23, he actually led 48 laps. I like that. But 25th place finish. Look, he doesn't need to finish super well. 25th is fine. He had a 15th before that. He had a 26th. In the 32 car for Go Fast Racing, it's a shitty car, like some not good finishes in that as you kind of go farther back. But even in the BK Racing car, he had 24th, 28th, 5th place in the TriStar Motorsports. Decent enough runs. He's got some upside. And, you know, you look at that 15th place he had here a couple of seasons ago. Maybe he can get a run like that. Maybe they can play strategy right or whatever it is. He's going to be out there taking care of his equipment. And if anybody's motivated in this field, it's a guy like that that's literally clinging on to the little bit of racing life he has left. He's essentially taken the money that he got for being bought out of the contract with Spire for that extra year and put it into the Daytona 500. He won some money there, and he's using that to fund the rest of the season. That might be the end of the money. So he needs to have good runs, show these teams what he can do. I like a little Corey LaJoie action this week.
When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. And so, yeah, I mean, this is an instance where, okay, I'll take a flyer on a guy like that because, like you said, you know he can't tear up his equipment, so he's not going to be trying to go out there and be overly aggressive. He's going to take care of himself. He's going to try to put his team in the best position ever. He may not qualify fast, which is probably even better for you because then he just moves up through the field and starts getting more points.
Like, they've got nothing to lose. They might take some gambles, roll some dice. Obviously, he has in the past here. He led 45 laps. I don't remember that race off the top of my head, although I should because Corey LaJoie was out front for 45 laps. But I'm going to guess he wasn't just that fast in the Spire 7 car in 23. So probably took some gambles there and got some laps led. If something like that happens, even if he doesn't have a great finish and he gets you 45 laps led at $5,400, it's a pretty solid day for you. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they could take a gamble and maybe suddenly he's out in the top 10 late in this race. because things worked out, fell in their way, and they really do have nothing to lose in a race like this.
Indeed. All right. Sometimes you just have to look over the shoulder of the smartest kid in class in order to get the right answer to things. And the last couple of weeks, that has been Cody, and he's been the smartest man in the class. So I just reached over and copied his paper. And I'm taking Ty Dillon as my low price driver. $5,600 for young Tyrone, not Tyrone Dillon. Here's the thing about Ty Dillon. He is averaging 28 fantasy points per race this season. He is $5,600 and he's averaging 28 fantasy points per race, but even better, he's not lost you points over the course of the season, which is exactly what we keep telling you time and time again. It's important for these guys that are this low on the board to not lose you any points. And in fact, he's rewarded you over the last couple of weeks with a couple of 40-point performances at Darlington and Martinsville, right? 40 last week, 41 the week before. Hell, even the 24 points that he got you in the race 3 weeks ago, that's not bad either at $5,200. 17, 36, 20, 24. I mean, it's one of those things where you just look at it and go, all right, this is Ty Dillon. He's actually doing good. 24 points he got you in the 2022 race here at Bristol when they were on the concrete, in the 2023 race. And of course, remember, this isn't in the 10 car. He did get you 8 points the week or the year before in 2023. So not necessarily all that great either. But this season, it's been Ty Dillon's year. He's actually done well. When you look at his finishes too, it's actually not bad because he's finished 15th and 16th in Martinsville and Darlington, right? After starting 28th and 29th. He finished 16th at Phoenix after starting 25th. So, I mean, some pretty solid runs for Ty Dillon. Everything Cody said last week about Ty Dillon, cut and paste right here into this segment. And yeah, I mean, Ty Dillon at $5,600, it's actually not a bad investment to make, especially since pretty much nobody other than Cody is putting that 10 car in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, people look at it and there's a lot of the attitude, like Boji Joe saying here, I'm sick of the Dillons driving cup cars, but they're actually pretty good drivers. Like they really are. Sure, did they get some help getting where they are because of who their grandfather is? Yes. That happens in everyday life, in a lot of businesses, and everywhere you turn and look. That's how it works. And as parents, you want to set your kids up to be successful, and they've gotten that chance, which is great. But Austin Dillon, he's really done a good job over the years, but Ty Dillon this season in particular, he's run really, really well, and he's turning in good finishes. You go back to Phoenix a couple weeks ago, they called that race perfectly. He was going to be the only one with fresh tires late in the race, and then he got the speeding penalty and messed it up. But they've been putting themselves in good situations. That car seems to have speed, and I believe that part of getting the reason that Kaulig brought Ty Dillon in is because they got an upgraded engine package from RCR, which is Richard Childress, Ty's grandpa. That's who provides their engines. Hey, sign grandson, you get better engines. Okay, fine. Well, it's actually been paying off for him on the track. So nepotism or not, at this price for what he's been doing, give me a lot of Ty Dillon.
I don't. We're not launching into it in this place, but I mean, you're right. It's just like sometimes it doesn't matter how you get there. If you get there and you're okay, but if you get there and you suck every single week, then there's something to spend about. But yeah, you're right. Look, 15th, 16th. There's a lot of teams that would kill for 15th and 16th place finishes. A la Cody Ware would want those each and every week. So yeah. Anyways, all right. Get out your pen and paper. We're gonna. Speaking of that, get out your pen and paper. We're gonna go over our picks, our DFS picks for this race. Cody started you off with Dennis Hamlin at $11,100 for his high price driver. I said Christopher Bell at $10,200 was my high price driver. Cody gave you Chris Buescher at $8,300 for his mid-tier driver. I took his teammate Ryan Preece at $7,500 for mine. Cody said Corey LaJoie finally stacking enough pennies to get into Bristol at $5,400 was his low price driver. And then I said Ty Dillon at $5,600 as I copy Cody as my low price driver. Boji Joe says I should be on ESPN then if my granddaddy had a different name. If only, Boji Joe, if only. I would 1,000%. But you know what? No. I say that in full honesty because I love where I'm at right now. I would probably not be working with Cody right now if I was on ESPN And this is the only place I want to be, is working with Cody. So if we both go to ESPN, all the better. But
I would like to see you on ESPN, but I am happy to be working with you. So
good stuff. All right, we'll start talking about Underdog Fantasy in just a second and give you all of our picks. But before that, let me tell you officially about Underdog Fantasy, because it's time for our Underdog Fantasy segment where we're giving you all of our favorite Underdog Fantasy plays. Underdog Pick'em. You can play any sport and win up to 100 times your money. Hang tight. After the break, we're giving you all of our favorite Underdog Fantasy plays for the race. But in the meantime, grab that phone of yours, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN if you haven't already. And listen, let me add something to this. This is the best way that the bosses understand that you listen to our show, right? Is these actions on the ads. I read them. Boji Joe says I read them well, but more importantly, it's just the way they track which shows are doing good from an advertising standpoint. So if you can, and if you haven't already, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code RACESGPN. Not only are you going to get all of the great benefits of being a part of Underdog Fantasy, but you're going to get a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code RACESGPN. Tell you about Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. If you watch it, if you participate, it's all on there right now. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf, which are also things. I know NASCAR fans don't always know it, but NBA and golf are out there too. Picks so good, feels like cheating. Build your own model. It's definitely simple and easy to do. I'm starting to build my Aaron Judge model to try to figure out how many home runs he's going to have on a day-to-day basis, because he's going to have a bunch. And Rhythm's going to tell me exactly how many he's going to have and how many I need to bet on. Plus, it also got an amazing deal going on right now. 25% off of a monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25. And you get 50% off of an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Yeah, I know that he's going to actually hit home runs. And it's like, how many is he going to get a night? My question, though, is at some point, do you think he's going to break Barry Bonds' record?
The all-time home run record?
Nah, the season. I mean, maybe the all-time. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Are both in play?
I don't know. I'd have to, I guess, look more at the metrics on the all-time stuff. The season one is going to be tough. Obviously, he's not juicing like Perry was. But which is fine, and Barry should be in the Hall of Fame, and everybody was doing it. But I think that the way he plays the game, and as good as he's gotten, don't count anything out. I mean, we never thought the Gretzky record was going to be broken, and look at Ovechkin, he did it. So,
although you love how people were mad that they stopped the whole game to have the ceremony, I was like, dude, this is a monumental task. Like, of course.
Yeah. That's what you do for things like that. It's not like he just tied some random out of the blue stuff, like the all-time great stats, like of what you do in hockey. So people, Rod.
people. That's all right. You know what? I love our people, because our people play Underdog Fantasy and they are damn good at it too. And that is what we are going to help you become as well. Underdog Fantasy. It's simple. The premise is simple. You go in there, you click on the little racing tab under the Pick'em menu in there, and you'll see a bunch of drivers and their projected finishing projections. Yeah. And all you got to do is pick whether or not they're going to finish better than or worse than those projected finishing projections, and stack some multipliers up and walk away with the win at the end of the day. Cody, it's really been that good to us lately.
Yeah, it's that simple, and it is a ton of fun. You can do cross sport. You got NASCAR Cup Series. They have Xfinity and trucks later on in the week. They've got F1 stuff loaded in there already, along with the MLB stuff and golf. You can get it on the second round of PGA or whatever. The Masters, all sorts of stuff, and a bunch of other racing stuff too. So, and they give you great plays like this. Look, Joey Logano is on here at 11.5. Joey Logano, the toughest guy in the garage to decide what he's going to do on a week-to-week basis. But we've got 4 races here at Bristol in the next gen era. There are 39 drivers entered into this race. In the next gen car, Joey Logano has the 41st average finishing position out of all drivers, 27.8 here at Bristol. BJ McLeod is better. Zane Smith is better. Ricky Stenhouse is better. JJ Yaley is better. You fucking got it right. Corey LaJoie is better. Daniel Hemrick has a better average finishing position. Landon Castle has a better average finishing position in the next-gen car. It has not been good for Joey Logano at this track. He has just struggled, whether it's been circumstances, whatever the case is, but 28th place here in the fall, not good. 22nd here last spring after starting 4th. Tire debacle was not good for him. 34th here in the fall of 23. He wrecked in that race, sure, but it's not gone well. 27th in the fall of 22 before that. Had a suspension issue, but still, even when he has finished the race running in the old car, 11th, so 0.5 better than this projection. Then 21st, 16th. If you go all the way back to 2019, that's when you started having a good run of 3rd, 4th, 9th, 5th, like some good finishes there. He won back in 2015. But things have not been kind to Joey Logano at Bristol for many years now. And you look at what he's done this season. So they've got his finishing projection for the reigning champion at 11.5 here. He opened the season at the Daytona 500 with a 35th place finish, so not better than. 12th at Atlanta, not better than. 24th at Coda, 13th at Phoenix. Stop me when we get to a better than. 15th at Vegas, 14th at Miami, 8th at Martinsville. Okay, so he finally got and 13th last week at Darlington. So decent runs, but he's not even looked that good this year. He's been horrendous at Bristol lately. We think, so this is, we think it's going to be a chalky week, and it's going to be a lot of Hamlin. It's going to be a lot of Larson. It's not been the up and down finish. Like Larson, we thought would be good last week at Darlington, but, he's not always, but like it's hitting, they're just good every race at Bristol, which we covered a lot in the betting episode. And so on the opposite side of the chalk, and we think that the chalk is going to be good up top, well, the chalk is probably going to be good at the bottom too, and that's where Joey is. He's the 41st average finishing position out of drivers who have started in the next-gen era. So it's not been good for him, and I'm going to take the worst then on Joey Logano at 11.5.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that from a standpoint of I'd rather be heartbroken if he does better than heartbroken if I wanted him to do better and he doesn't, right? I mean, that's the heartbreak I want. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll tip my cap. He actually got me on that one. But if he does what he's supposed to do, then I'd rather be happy that I hit that side of it. So I'll take that. All right. This is the heartbreak that I don't want, but I'm going to do anyways. And we talked about Brad Keselowski earlier and how we think that RFK is going to actually be good this weekend. Underdog pretty much nailed this projection right on the head. The average finish for Brad Keselowski in the next gen era on this track is 12.5. His Underdog finishing projection, 12.5. But I will take the better than in this one because I am ready to have my heart broken by Brad Keselowski finally. Okay, so if you've known and if you've listened at all, I've been on the other side of the Brad Keselowski world. This is like a flip. This is reverse. Like all of a sudden now I'm working. This is like me in the Xfinity Series praising JGR.
I tried to talk you out of him last week. It didn't go well.
No, it did not, but that's okay. I'm going right back to it this week. Brad Keselowski, better than 12.5. He's done it twice already in the next gen era, and he missed it by a half a position in 2022, finishing 13th in that race. Like I said, his average finish here, 12.5. It has been absolutely heart-wrenching for the six fans. He's been 33rd, 26th, 26th. He did get 11th place at Las Vegas, so good for him there, but 33rd, 15th, 39th, 26th. Something's got to give, and the rest of his team is going to be good this weekend. He needs to be good this weekend, and really all it is just me taking a flyer on a guy that, when you say taking a flyer on Brad Keselowski, sounds kind of silly because you shouldn't be taking a flyer on a driver like Brad Keselowski, but he's done it. Like I said, he's done it twice in the next gen era. I feel like, and it wasn't even that tire debacle, right? It wasn't where we go, oh, we're throwing that one out. In fact, in that tire debacle, he was 26th in that one. So the 26th place is pretty much skewing his average finish anyways on this track. It'd be a little bit higher had he not had that 26th finish last year. So I will, like I said, take my heartbreak if he doesn't finish, but I think Brad Keselowski is going to turn it around this weekend. I think he's at least going to finish 12th, maybe 11th, maybe 10th, but definitely 12th. So give me Brad Keselowski better than 12.5.
Yeah, I'm not super confident in this one, I gotta say, but I'll be rooting for it. I love Brad. I love RFK. He's done well here in the past. But you said that last week too, and it didn't work out. So I hope this is the week. I believe that it was Phil that I was listening to this morning on Full Tank with Phil, and he was saying, like, I said it last week, and if he did let us down, we were going to be done with him, but I'm giving him one more chance before the break here. This is like, if Keselowski doesn't come through this week, then I think we're going to have to jump off the Keselowski train for a while, because these are the tracks where he should be getting it done. So
not hard for me to jump off that train because I'm already halfway off of it.
Yeah, you're barely on it anyways. But a train that I'm off this week, even though I don't like being off of it, is the Kyle Busch train. 12.5 is where they've got him set at. And, you know, we just talked about Joey Logano, average finish. He's 41st out of everyone at 27.8. Well, Kyle Busch is a little bit better than BJ McLeod, at least, but he's 38th on this list at 26.0 average finish here in the next gen. And again, still guys like Stenhouse, Yaley, Corey LaJoie has a better finish in the next gen. And he started all four. Like, Yaley's only started two of them, okay, but LaJoie started all four of them. Better average finish than Kyle Busch in the next gen. Just think about that. Like, I love Corey LaJoie, but think about what I'm saying there when I say that. It has not been, and Kyle Busch used to own this fucking play, like, so good here, but he has not been good here lately. 25th here in the fall, 24 or 25th here last spring as well. A great 20th place finish in the fall of 23. The fall of 22, 34th. That was the bad engine time with Joe Gibbs Racing when they were giving him duds or whatever, I guess. But 21st here in the last Gen 6 car race. Before that, great, like second, fourth, first, a 20th, but first, all these great runs, but not in the next gen car, not with RCR. He's not been getting it done. It's been up and down to start the season. I mean, it's not been as bad as Joey Logano. He's got a couple of good finishes, but 10th place last week at Darlington, okay. 17th at Martinsville, that's not better. Miami was 31st. Vegas was 33rd. 8th at Phoenix, 5th at Coda. Yeah, but, 500, he was 34th. Decent finish at Atlanta. So up and down to start the season, but he's not been any good at this track lately. And again, I think we just have to run with the stats we do have. We've got 4 races. He's been bad. It's not like, 2 really bad ones and 2 really good ones. It's kind of it's just been 4 bad races for whatever reason in each one. But if it keeps happening, why is this the race that it's going to stop? It's kind of the same thought with Joey there. I just think that you have to have these guys at 11.5, at 12.5, because if you go too far the other direction, that's when okay, we're going to have to start thinking about the other side, because they're capable. Kyle Busch, very capable. He's a great race car driver, and it hasn't happened lately at this track. And if it changes and he finishes well, great. I would love to see it, but until it does, going to have to fade him here. So give me the worst then on Mr. KFB at 12.5.
Well, and when you look at the stats for this track, he just dominates in all categories. Everything that there is, it's like Kyle Busch is the first of like wins and all. I mean, there's just
even one here on the dirt.
Yeah.
It's the next gen car, but he's not been any good here in the concrete in the next gen car for whatever reason. It's not worked out for him so far. Is this the week it does? Sure, okay, maybe, but that's not where my money's going.
It's definitely tough to back Kyle Busch right now, and other than saying, yeah, he's going to finish worse than his projected finishing position. So I'm with you on that one. All right. I am going to, I don't know what it was today. I don't know what I woke up and maybe I'm in a good mood. Cause if you've noticed lately, I've been picking worse thans, but I guess I'm in a good mood this morning. And
yeah,
I
guess I'm not. I went straight worse thans this week.
Cody's like, I hate the world. You're finishing poorly. But no, listen, and I'm even on drivers that I'm not normally on. So maybe I did wake up on the right side of the bed this morning, because I'm taking Chase Briscoe. Better than at 10.5 for Chase Briscoe. And I think he's going to have a top 10 finish then. Look at Chase Briscoe. You know me. I was not necessarily sold on him in the 19. Everybody was singing his praises, especially after he started on the pole and finished 4th at Daytona. But then he ripped off a string of disappointing finishes: 21st, 14th, 35th, 17th. Then he turned it around, right? 4th at Homestead, 9th at Martinsville. Those are 2 solid races for that 19 car. Disappointment in Darlington, where he finished 28th, but he was fast. He did have a 4th place car in qualifying. So look, for Chase Briscoe, his last couple of races here leave me thinking that we're in for something good this particular week. in the 14 car. He finished 13th and 8th in the last couple of races in 2024. So again, he started 6th and 5th. So he had speed at qualifying, kind of maintained that throughout the run. Obviously didn't get a top 10 finish in 2024 in the spring, but of course, right? I mean, this was the last year of SHR, and he really ran the hell out of that equipment in the fall with the tire debacle going on. But for like I said, he's had top 10 finishes in 2 of the last 3 races, which leads me to believe this 19 car. And we know Denny Hamlin's going to be fast, right? We know, talked about him earlier in the DFS part of it. If this JGR camp is about to be fast, Denny Hamlin's a part, or Chase Briscoe's a part of that camp, which means he's probably going to be a top 10 car at the end of the day. We think Christopher Bell's going to be good. We think Denny Hamlin's going to be good. That means Chase Briscoe's got to be good, right?
We think Ty Gibbs is going to be good. Could you say it, Rod?
Sorry, I'm looking for the words to where that. No, but yeah, if all of those cars, including ones that I can't even talk about, are going to be good, Chase Briscoe should be a top 10 car this week. So give me Chase Briscoe better than 10.5.
I tried to jump on the Chase Briscoe train last week. It did not treat me well, but he should be good this week. So, yeah, I don't love it again, but I don't hate it either. So I'll ride with you on this one. And for me, this is the scariest one definitely to take. And you know, I've kind of established a position against this guy this week, and nothing against him, but William Byron, worse than 7.5. And I did hear Phil over on Full Tank with Phil. He had the same head-to-head I did. Elliott over Byron made me feel a lot better about playing that, which is always nice. But you know, he's 13th here on the average finish for next-gen drivers, which is not bad, way better than Kyle Busch and Joey Logano we just talked about, but not great either. And you know, in the fall race here, 17th place finish after starting 3rd, like 5th in stage 1. But and I know he tagged the wall at one point, and things just kind of didn't go his way. But not a good finish. He was 35th here in the spring tire debacle race. But again, you know, is what it is in that one. But then even in the fall of 23, like a 9th place finish. Now he did in the first next gen race here in September of 22, did finish 3rd. So he's definitely got that in him, and he's capable of doing that. In the old car, 3rd place finish as well, but also a 38th, you know, 8th, 21st, kind of hit and miss with him. He's obviously a really good driver. You know, I would put him near the top of the board for just drivers in the Cup Series right now and where they're performing at on a week-to-week basis. But results haven't been there. He's not hit this in the last 3, so 3 out of the 4 next-gen races, 3 in a row. And even this year, like, very good runs. Obviously, leads 243 laps last week. And so you're like, that's the guy you want to fade this week? But you saw what happened when he wasn't the guy out front after just laying down a heater. Like, yeah, it wasn't that good, right? Finished the 2nd. Good, that's fine. But 22nd at Martinsville, 12th at Miami, not good runs at those tracks. Had some other really good finishes. Obviously won the Daytona 500 to open the year. But yeah, I think worse than 7.5. Again, if we think that this is going to be the Larson show and the Hamlin show and the Bell show, and we think Elliott's going to be really good, there's already 4 guys ahead of him. Can we just fill up those 5, 6, 7 spots with a couple other guys? Buscher sneaks in there, Gibbs, whoever it is. I think that Byron can have an okay day. I don't think he's just going to be out to lunch. I think that Joey Logano and Kyle Busch could just be out to lunch all day. We're talking about how they're going lap down fairly early in the race. I don't see that happening from Byron, but I also don't think he's a top 7 car. That's why I faded him in the head-to-head. That's why I'm taking the worse than here. Still could be top 10, top 15 and have an okay day. I just don't think he's going to be one of the elite cars this weekend, and he hasn't shown to be that at Bristol in the next-gen car for the most part. So, yeah, I'm going to complete the worse than sweep and give me William Byron at worse than 7.5.
So when we talk about him being good in the spring, this is one track, obviously, that he hasn't necessarily been good at. So, I mean, I'm okay with you fading this one. And yeah, I mean, it was like the totally different car that he was driving when he was not in clean air and when he got caught up in this pit cycle that kind of was at the end of that race. And yeah, it's frustrating from a guy who had Byron to watch that happen. So I'm with you on that. All right.
Yeah. Oh. Shout out real quick too to Brian checking in over on Facebook. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, NASCAR Gambling Podcast, go over there and give us a like as well.
Yeah, and please, we're getting very, very, very close to 1,000 subscribers now on YouTube.
We
So
we are very close. We need to check in and see where we're at. If you're listening to this, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. 75 subscribers away from hitting that 1,000 mark, which is a very magical number, they tell us. So we appreciate your help getting this close so far. Help push us over the limit if you haven't subscribed yet.
They say it leads to Narnia. I've never been to Narnia. I would love a trip to Narnia. So please subscribe so that I can go to Narnia and see all the glories that is that place.
That's what we told Rod. We got a golden ticket to Narnia when we hit 1,000. So
or
help us get there. So
the chocolate factory. Ticket. Either way, I want the golden tickets of that. All right. You know who's getting a golden ticket at the end of this race? Okay, maybe not, but he'll at least finish inside of the top 10. And that is Ross Chastain. I'm taking his better than to complete the better than sweep on this one. Look, Ross Chastain has been inside of the top 10 in 3 out of the last 4 races this season alone. A 5th place at Vegas, 6th place at Martinsville, 7th place at Darlington. We didn't really talk about him too much, I think, in the betting episode, but he's been sneaky, just sneaky all season long, right? He's not been the fastest guy out there. He's not making waves. He's not necessarily ripping the wall and hanging on to everything. Actually, I talked about him being a top 10 car in he's just been sneaky and steady in his drives this season. And around Bristol, he actually has a 10th place finish last fall, finished 15th in the spring of 2024, 23rd in the fall of 2023, but 6th so his one car, he's been top 10 twice out of 4 times total in the thing. He's actually 10th in the overall NASCAR Next Gen average finishes heat chart given to us by our friends over at iFantasy Race. But yeah, he is 13.5 average, but he's 10th in the list as far as average finishes are concerned. So like I said, that 6th place finish and that 10th place finish kind of got skewed by the 23rd in 2023. But for Ross Chastain, I mean, look, that one car, it's just been running well. It's been well enough to be inside of the top 10. It's certainly not where they want it to be each and every week. They definitely want victories. But I think right now, as they start to hammer out what's going on with Trackhouse, they'll accept these 10th place finishes and sort of build from there. So for Ross Chastain, again, this is a track where he keeps his cool and he just manages to do enough to be a top 10 car, at least most of the time in the next gen era. So I like Ross Chastain to be in the top 10, which means I will give him out as an underdog fantasy play for this week at better than 10.5.
Another one, 3 for 3, and I'm just not sold on. I don't know. We talked about Ross yesterday. You obviously gave him out as the top 10. I took Buescher in the head-to-head over him, and Chastain could definitely finish better than 10th and still lose to Buescher, of course. But I don't know. I'm not excited by Chastain this week either.
It's all right. That's why he's there, and that's why you take him, because then everybody else isn't. And good thing about Underdog, it doesn't matter who else does this. You do it, everybody else does it, and if it hits, it hits, and you're all happy about it. So gotta love it. All right. Well, then that is the end of our run on Underdog. So get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our Underdog fantasy picks for this race. Cody started you out with Joseph Logano, worse than 11.5. I said Brad Keselowski would be better than. So I was almost going to say worse than, because that's what I've been at lately. But Brad Keselowski better than 12.5. Cody gave you a Kyle Busch worse than 12.5. I said Chase Briscoe would finish better than 10.5. Cody said Byron would finish worse than 7.5. And I said Ross Chastain finishing better than 10.5 for the Food City 500 from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Cody, I need to hurry up and get out of here so I can finish this Tennessee whiskey.
Good. Get on your Tennessee whiskey, Rod. You put all those 6 in there that we gave you. You can get 35 times your entry fee. So, $10 on there, $350 if they all hit. If you play those 6 and then we're both thinking it's going to be chalky. Larson better than 4.5, Hamlin better than 5.5, 120 times your entry fee on that. If you toss those in, I've definitely put in both of those plays already. So it's Underdog Fantasy again. If you've listened this far, you haven't tried it out. Promo code RaceSGPN when you sign up over there. It is a ton of fun. And then of course, doing the cross sport thing is great too. Not to mention the NFL best ball drafts that they have over there. Those also are wonderful things. So it's a great place to be.
There's many ways to keep your self entertained over on Underdog Fantasy. We've taken advantage of pretty much all of them. So
yes.
All right, Cody. Well, let's send everybody out on the weekend to enjoy the race weekend and have some fun with Underdog and DFS.
Let's do that, Rod. You can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. Find all of my work there, racing stuff, NFL stuff, arena football stuff, bunch of draft stuff coming out here. Just got done with all the college basketball stuff. So keeping busy. You can find all of it at Husker_Zeeb. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Click the subscribe over on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. All that stuff helps. We greatly appreciate it. Best of luck. It's Bristol, baby. Buy those monster cans in advance so you can celebrate that Ty Gibbs win. And we'll see you guys next week.
Buy those monster cans and let them sit on the shelf because they're going to be sitting there for a good long while. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Check me out already if you're listening on Friday or in a little bit. If you're listening on Thursday on the back road, I'm joining Elliott as we talk about Bristol as well. Make sure you go check out the Steffi Small Show. I was a guest there last night talking about the fantasy football impact of a lot of the moves that were happening over the course of the offseason, and I had fun talking with her about all that. And of course, there's all kinds of crazy links to darts and esports and just all kinds of great stuff. So, all right, we'll see you guys next week. And until then, everybody stay safe. We love you all. Let's go racing and let it ride.